How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and if you're moving to Denver, you better know what's going on in the housing market, buying or renting, and we're talking about it starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everetson. Listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons of moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is the channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon you see on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And listen, as much as I try to be a little educational here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. And we're helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I'm always the person answering your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails, there when in if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is the state of the housing market here in Denver as of July 2023. All right, so let's get some stuff out of the way, if you will. If you've been paying attention to the housing market at all, heck, nationwide, you can see that there has been obviously a slowing of the market, but here in Denver, it's kind of unique because there's no universal answer. We have some homes that come onto the market for sale, perhaps, that are being sold immediately, over asking price, aggressive offers, and then you have some homes that are sitting on the market forever. You have some rental agencies or apartment buildings that have no vacancy, they're renting out, they're increasing their rents, and then you have some places that are giving incentives for people to move into. So it's really location based, and that location could be the difference between a few blocks or a mile over, as opposed to moving into an entirely different region. As of the making of this video, which I'm making the last week of June leading into July, multiple sites, including Redfin, listed Denver as far as how hot the market was at an 85. Now, I don't really have anything to weigh that off of because I have yet to see any of these sites list Denver at less than, say, a 75, 80. So I don't know, we're in the 80s. We get a B for the housing market. So diving into just some general basics of home prices in different regions of Denver, and I just picked 5 of the more popular regions. Obviously, you have Denver itself. As of the making of this video, single family homes sold for a median price of $707,000. Townhouses were sitting at $610,000, and condos down to $363,000. Again, just the median. In Lakewood, single families were down at $672,000. Townhouses at $425,000 and condos at $350,000. Aurora was the most reasonable, if you will, or affordable of the 5 that we looked at. Single family homes going for $530,000 as far as median price. Townhouses at $380,000 and condos at $290,000. Couple outliers for us. Broomfield, which is to the northwest of Denver, single family sat at $675,000. Townhouses at $578,000 and condos sat at $405,000. And Parker, which is southeast of Denver, sat with single families at $681,000, townhouses at $500,000, and condos at $390,000. Now, again, median prices, just to kind of give you an idea of how things are looking, and giving you some communities that are pretty popular. Lakewood covers most of West Denver. Aurora covers all of East. Parker and Broomfield being a little outliers for you, very popular communities that are within a 30 to 45 minute drive of Denver. Now, obviously, when we talk about housing from a purchase standpoint, interest rates for mortgages have been the hot topic. Once rates started to increase in the spring and summer of 2022, the market has not really recovered to the point it was, but in my humble opinion, that was a good thing. In early 2022, before rates started to increase, we started to see, or we're continuing to see, I should say, home prices go bananas. We were seeing appreciation in double digits, going over 20% in parts of Denver and the metro area, and that is unsustainable. Now, because those home prices were increasing so rapidly, and because it was so difficult to buy a home, that also caused rents to increase. So you were seeing people get hit double fold. They couldn't afford rent, and they couldn't compete as far as buying a home. As interest rates increased, that stabilized the rental market to large part. You started to see rents become a bit more affordable, and for people who could still qualify to buy a home, they had more ability to do so because there was less competition. No question, affordability became an issue. You have high home prices along with high interest rates. It makes it very difficult for buyers, but at least in the situations when they did qualify, they weren't competing against 20 people. And if they didn't qualify, the rents that they were looking at were more affordable than they had been when interest rates were low and home prices were skyrocketing. Now, there was also a lot of talk in 2022 that we were going to see what was called a silver wave or a silver rush, in which retirees would move. Maybe they would downsize from bigger homes, or maybe they would move from certain states to warmer climates or what have you. We didn't really see that in Colorado, and a big factor for that is that we don't have a large older community. In fact, only a little less than 16% of the people in Colorado and in the Denver metro area are 65 or over. So while you see some of those people, whether it's downsizing or moving to a home that's a ranch style or whatever that may be, moving to a warmer climate or cold. I'm not going to say that all 65 plus people want to be in Florida, but we just didn't see a lot of that movement, and that was something that people were counting on. Why is that a big deal? Well, housing is always going to come down to inventory, and inventory is going to continue to be a challenge. Nationwide, less than 1%, 0.8 of a percentage point, in fact, is a vacant home, an empty home waiting to be sold. So less than 1 out of every 100 houses is empty and ready to be sold. That is extremely challenging when you talk about a lot of people hoping to buy a house. And that hit Colorado as well. In fact, in this state, recently, we have seen the fewest amount of new build permits pulled since 2015. So an 8-year stretch, we haven't seen that few permits pulled for new construction. So you have a lack of inventory to begin with, and clear data showing that new homes are not coming, at least not nearly quick enough. And adding to that inventory issue, and listen, I'm not trying to scare people from buying homes, I'm just giving you a fact. Here in Colorado, 29% of homes owned in the state are free and clear. It is estimated that 92% of mortgages in existence have a 5% interest rate or lower. What does that tell you? That tells you that people may not be willing to sell these homes. They either don't have a mortgage payment, or if they do have a mortgage payment, it is very reasonable compared to what they may have if they sell their home and move. The other factor is because they don't owe any money on their home, or because they have a low interest rate. We're seeing a lot of people who, if they can, they are retaining that original property before they move into something else. They're turning it into a rental. That may be good news for potential renters. It may not be, and most likely is not, good news for people looking to buy. Now, there is some good news to all of this, and you've heard some good news for renters, and yes, Denver is one of countless cities across the nation where right now, on the short term, renting has proven to be more affordable than buying. Certainly not as financially beneficial in the long term, but from the short term, it is more affordable. The good news as far as potential home purchases is that we have seen homes decrease in price. Both the median and average has dropped between 3 to 6%. That's year to year and year to date. That's from the National Association of Real Estate and DMAR here in Denver, their statistics. So you are seeing prices to some extent decrease. Again, I told you in the beginning, there are homes that are going for over list price and homes that sit on the market. It's very specific, but on an average, you've seen a 3 to 6% decrease. That decrease is not coming close to making up for those higher interest rates, but it is a positive for potential buyers. Now, what will we see in the future? Well, here's the thing. You have a lot of people predicting that interest rates will, at some point, begin to decrease. And inflation, which is a huge driving force when it comes to interest rates, is showing signs that inflation is under control and starting to move in the right direction. Now, the idea of when these rates will come down, well, that prediction just continues to get kicked down that can gets kicked down the road. We've had so-called experts, I'm gonna use my air quotes now for my experts, who said that we would be in the 5% range at the end of last year. And then it was gonna be by this spring. And now it's the beginning of, or the end of this year. The fact is, interest rates right now are sitting in high sixes on average, with a little more than a half a point of buy down included in that. Rates may stay or may move sideways, may fluctuate a little bit for a while, but I am a firm believer, you plan for now, you plan for the worst. If things get better, great, but you have to be prepared for the worst. The other thing I would advise, and you're gonna hear this from plenty of people, when, and eventually they will, when interest rates decrease, there are a lot of people who say that they are not gonna sell their house until interest rates go down. You have a lot of people, more than 60% of potential buyers, almost 70% of potential buyers say that they don't plan on buying until interest rates come down. So all of these people are waiting in their minds for interest rates to come down. And when interest rates do come down, that's when they're going to look at selling their house and buying, or just buying. So that's why I say, for people who have the ability to buy now, you are truly in a better position than you may very well be when rates come down and competition once again becomes fierce. In the meantime, that softer demand, that slower demand, if you will, people who are persistent in the buyer market, they're winning. They're getting into good homes. They're able to purchase under reasonable terms. They're getting assistance from the sellers to help with interest rate. They've got a lot going for them. I feel like this is a random moment where I have to mention Dave Ramsey. I don't know why. Dave, he's great for paying down debt, superb. But if you're listening to him in regards to buying a home, don't. His takes are brutal. I heard one video where he's telling parents they shouldn't help their kid buy a house. They should just make them learn tough lessons. And then the very next, he's like knocking somebody for listening to their parents in the first place. I don't know. That's just my random Dave Ramsey rant. I don't like his takes on home buying. Inaccurate. But if he's helping you pay off your visa, good job, Dave. Now, I know not all of you are talking about moving out to Denver and buying a house, and that is perfectly understandable. In fact, as of most recent data I saw, there are only 4 cities in the United States where in the short term it is more affordable to buy a home, and 2 of those were Detroit and Cleveland. And no knock, I got people and love Detroit and Cleveland, but I'm not moving there anytime soon. It is more affordable on average to rent a home here in Denver. I will add, in Denver, we don't really have a lot of companies. Like, I myself don't have a huge resource to help renters. I can point you in a couple directions, but truly, if you're looking at rentals in Denver, you are best checking out apartment.com, rent.com, Zillow.com, like you didn't know it's Zillow.com, but those resources, that's kind of how the Denver rental market works, depending on what you're looking for. Apartments, condos, if you want a detached home to rent, things of that nature. A lot of short-term options, and that's somewhere where we can chat if you're looking short-term. But overall, a lot of resources there. No question. Rent has become more reasonable. Denver is still an expensive city. There's no way around it. With the housing increase, with the inventory shortage and the price of houses going up, rent isn't cheap, but it has become more affordable than buying. I'm also a big fan, and I completely understand that for people that are moving to a new city and a new state, oftentimes, whether it is short term or at least for that first year, many people want to rent. And this is certainly a market that behooves you to research that if that is in your best interest. In the meantime, I'd love to have a conversation with you, whether it's about this, the neighborhoods of Denver, exploring this beautiful city. It's a great place. And thus, the number and email popping up on your screen, know that I'm always the person. Answer your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails, answer your questions there when and if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everett. That was the housing market, Denver, July 2023. Until I see you next time, peace.